Okay, this time we're going to try something quite simple. We're going to actually have the players meet their doom in a new way. So I've taken the first of the normal battle maps, I've put it onto Roll20, and we're assuming an ambush situation with our two previous characters from the US military concealed in what looks like heavy forest and some lighter forest, and our two Russian friends walking down the road unsuspectingly. So, how does that work, I hear you ask? Okay, so it's pretty simple. So the first thing we're going to test is that recon skill. This time we're waylaying them. So what that means is, because we've had a chance to set up, the two American characters will get a +2 bonus to their recon, and it'll be the selection of the best recon with 2 steps up, and then the Russians will roll against that to see if they see the ambush before it occurs. So let's go to character A, who has recon C and intelligence D, and character B, who has recon C and intelligence D, so they both are the same. So what that means is we're going to raise our lowest stat first, so D will go up to C, and then B for recon. So recon B, intelligence D. So I'll go to the Sabitus tool, and we will roll for the two of them combined because they're ready. So it was C, oh no, hold on, RWCB, oh sorry, CB, and no successes. Okay, so the Russians see them coming. So we then go to initiative, exactly as per normal. So we go RW for D10, and we'll see if that works. Yes, it does. So we got 3, 8, 2, and 7 for initiative. So let's just do that in order. 3, 8, 2, and 7. So if I go back here, that means character 1 has 3, character 2 has 8, Russian number 2 has 2. Oh, actually, hold on. No, that's fine. It's slightly disordered in comparison to what I was thinking, but it actually does not matter. So the first person to move will be character B. So character B is, and we're not using the map grid, we're using the Roll20 grid, so they are, we can actually measure the distance we want, and I haven't set up the hex length at the right length, so it's 9 hexes, which is 90 meters. The good news for them is they're carrying an M16A1, so they're within 2 times the range of their M16A1, which means they're at medium range. So because they're set up and they're ready to go, they will just open fire. So that gives them, and let's just remind ourselves, so that will give them a roll to hit. That's B that we're looking at. So they've got an M16A1, it's got a rate of fire of 6, damage 2, crit 3, and they have, I've upgraded their range combat, so they are B and C. They are prepped, and they will take the time to aim, so they suffer no negatives, and the Russians have not moved yet, so it's a B and a C to shoot at that distance. However, because the range is actually further than hoped, and they are exactly 1 range down. Whoops, sorry. Because they're 1 range down, they will take a -1. So because they're at medium range, they take a -1, and medium range is 2 times the short range of the weapon. And as we noticed, if we go back to the character sheet, the range of the weapon is 5. So 2 times that is 10, so their range is 10, or 100 meters, and they're going to take a -1 step. So they're going to roll a B and a D, as opposed to a B and a C, to see if they hit. So let's roll that and see what happens. W, B, and D. And they got no successes. Oh, I forgot the, okay, no, hold on. Okay, let's do that again, and this time let's get it right. Okay, so they do a B and a D, and they're also going to unload everything they've got at the guy. We'll assume this is the first of a new round. So what do we see? Suppressed. 3 times over. No hits. Okay, so the first Russian is under heavy fire. He doesn't get hit. They blast through a massive amount of ammo, and for the sake of this conversation, and because we want to play with the CUF rules, that's perfect. So we're not going to worry about pushing. Okay, if I'd pushed, I would have taken 1 point of damage, and I could have re-rolled all of those dice and no doubt got a better result. I also would have had a misfire, but I only got 1 misfire, and I have skill in the weapon, so I'm not taking a misfire, because I need to get 2 of those dice to get that to happen. So, I've hit the guy, and now he has to make a CUF roll. So, CUF roll for Russian number 1 is as follows. So, he has, luckily for him, a Coolness Under Fire of C and a unit morale of D. So the unit morale is equivalent to the highest command in the unit, and it only operates as long as he can see another member of his unit, which in this case he can. They can both see each other. So he gets to roll 2 dice for his Coolness Under Fire to resist that suppression. So we'll just go to that and just see how that works. RW, D, and a C. And does he get any successes? No, he does not. He gets no successes. And as a matter of fact, he gets a misfire, not that it matters, which means he is suppressed. So the moment he's suppressed, his character will drop to the ground and be prone. He will not take any actions this turn, and he will get to roll again next turn to see what he does. So who is number 3? Right, okay, all right. So this guy is currently prone. That's what's wrong. This guy here is currently prone. This guy is the next guy to move, however. So we'll go to him, and he can hear rattling gunfire. So quickly thinking, he sprints past his mate and heads for some cover, or at least some coverage. Now, he is actually being handed some advantages by first of all moving. So obviously anyone who shoots at him will take a -2 to hit. In addition, he gets the terrain modifier that he has now moved into. So let's just have a quick squiz at terrain modifiers and see where they take us. All right, no conditions. It's not low light. It's none of that sort of thing. He doesn't have any barriers. However, he is in shrubland. So, ranged attacks against him will take a -1, and if he was doing any further movement, he would take a -1. They provide no cover. And note, the other guy was in what was called foliage, so ranged attacks against him are going to take -2, and his movement was at -3. He did get cover, which is 2 points of cover, and he would have gotten a +2 to his infiltration, which probably means they would have actually got the surprise, but it's okay, we'll worry about that later. So he's moved into cover effectively by jumping into the shrubland, and he will now return fire at someone in the distance. So we'll assume he returns fire to our opponent. So he's now 1, 2, actually we can just measure it using the lovely little tool here. So he's 8 hexes away. So once again, he's at medium range for his AK-74, and he offloads. Now he's not aimed, however this guy hasn't moved, but as we noticed, because we had a look at that foliage, because I'm in heavy foliage, I'm getting 2 points of cover, but I'm also getting -2 to ranged attacks. So the fact that I didn't move doesn't matter. So I'm now getting -2. He didn't aim, so that's -4. And that's really the sum of it. So he will no doubt be once again rolling a single D6 plus as many dice as he chooses to throw into the air. Yes, he has range combat B. -4 to B is C, D, E. So beyond that. So he gets a D6 for his skill and stat, and he gets 5 dice for his rate of fire. So he's going to offload 6 dice. So if we go to the Sabitas tool, then he will throw RW D, and he will go 5 dice. Sorry, not 6. And he also scores no hits, but he does get a suppression. So now our other guy has to make a successful roll to avoid being suppressed. So we'll just go to him and check his combat against CUF. So now there's a lot of suppression being thrown around. Okay, they're slightly more equipped for this sort of thing. C and a C. So he can see his buddy. He's getting that unit morale bonus. So they're going to roll 2 Cs to resist. And hopefully we'll pull it off. So he goes, I'm going to resist. C and C. And he gets 2 successes, laughing off the suppression attempt by the Russian. He continues to fight back. At this point, our number 2, seeing that the Russian is prone and on the ground but suppressed, chooses to move. Selector chooses to go and yeah, that guy's not doing anything. He does nothing this round, and this person then moves to here because he can't see. If we had a look at the visibility, just checking that again, he was in shrubland as well, and you'll see on the shrubland, oh no, visibility was 3, so actually he could see. Okay, so he could shoot. Visibility, maximum visibility, range in 10 meter hexes. No, he could not see. So he moves in, and he's going to have a shot at the guy who's on the ground prone. So if we have a think about what does prone mean, prone means goodness for avoiding being hammered by grenades. It doesn't do us a lot of good in this situation beyond that. I haven't moved, so no -2 for that. He hasn't aimed, so there is a -2 for that. So where are we at with our minuses? It looks like we're shooting at the guy. He's on open ground, so he gets no modifier for ranged attack. I'm taking -2 in total, and if I look at character A now, who has been slightly upgraded after the first one, because I felt he needed a better shooting ability, he's only getting -2, which takes that to D and that to D, so he's getting a single D as... No, he's getting a C. He's getting a D8. Okay, he gets to roll a single D8, and he's also going to offload his machine gun effectively as well. So he rolls the same sort of roll, so he's rolling C and then 6D and hoping for a hit. And he got it. Right. He got 1 hit and he got 2 mishaps, which means he did get a mishap. He burnt through 18 things. So in a second we'll have to clear our gun, but first of all let's resolve that hit. It did 2 damage, and the first thing we do is we roll for location. So that will be RW, oops, sorry, RW 1D, and see where that lands us. 6, ooh, headshot. That's good, because the guy's wearing a helmet. So he reduces the damage to 1, takes it to the head, doesn't suffer a critical. Now, at this point, I have the option of choosing to push, but we're not going to play with push at the moment, so we'll just leave it at that. Yep. Okay, so one of the things to notice is that actually I couldn't have pushed because I got a mishap. So it wouldn't have worked anyway, and we're going to roll for weapon reliability now. So the first thing that happens is the guy's out on the ground, he's under fire, and we're going to do him 1 point of damage from the gun because I hit him in the head where he's got a metal helmet, luckily for him. I got no extra successes. I didn't actually even get suppression. So he's suppressed and he's taken 1 point of damage. Now I have to roll for my weapon, and we did that last time, so we just roll... we just roll a W, and because the weapon's AA, yep, okay, the gun did not jam, it continues to work. Hurrah! Okay, so that's the first round of combat resolved. What we have now is 1 person currently suppressed, 1 person hiding in some woods, 2 other people also hiding in bushes, firing at each other. Now we go back to this guy. He takes 1 look at the prone guy and the other guy. he aims this time and he shoots. Okay, so we're getting -1 for range. He's still in the open. He hasn't moved, so no negatives, and I aimed. So I'm going to get my full, almost full attack. I just need to take that plus or -1 in this case. So if we go back to my character sheet for character B, we will see that my agility is B and my range combat is C, so my range combat goes down to D. So I've got B and a D, and I'm rolling. Now I lost 25 ammo, so that's going to have an impact. Okay, so I'm going to roll, but the bad news for me is I only have 5 points of ammo left. I don't know if you recall, but I'd actually burnt through 25, which means I only have 5 left. And that means I actually can't get any additional successes for my rate of fire. I'm still going to do it because why not? But actually, I'm just going to fire off 1 round. No, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to shoot my gun because otherwise, the only thing that can happen is I take a negative effect. So I will not use my rate of fire at all. I will just use the gun. I'll fire off a single shot. So I've got B and C, and as we said, the C went down to D, so that's all I am rolling, a B and a C. So I go shift, W, B and a C, and what do we get? A hit! A palpable hit, sir! Excellent. So we got 1 success with our shot, once again to the same guy who's still lying on the ground. So we will also roll to determine where we hit. 1D, and it's in the head again, and once again my metal helmet will do its goodness. Okay, it would have been good to be hit in the head, except that because I've already taken 1 hit and it's taken damage, the armor is actually 0 in the head this time, so I've taken 2 points of damage to my head as opposed to the 1 because my armor is now less effective than it was previously. So I need to actually show that. My Adobe is struggling now. So I've taken another 2 points of damage, still below my hit capacity though, but I'm certainly feeling it. And I have no armor at this point in time on my head, so my armor rating is now 0. And he used 1 round, which was a perfect shot, I must say. Okay, so that was his round. Good shooting all round. Now it's our friend who sees that his friend's in desperate trouble and realizes he's going to have to do something quite radical. So he's going to stay right where he is, and now he aims and fires at this guy. So if we go to my character sheet for said Russian, the second Russian, I can roll my B for range combat, my D for agility. I haven't moved, I'm aiming. He hasn't moved, I'm aiming. He's, however, concealed in some light woodland, and that gives me a -1 to range combat. So once again, my range combat will go down to C. So I'm going to roll a D and a C. So a D8 and a D6. So let's just see what happens when we do that. Actually, let me just pause there. Actually, sorry, I slightly misspoke. What we're actually going to be doing is stepping down my lowest stat first. So I have a -1, which means my D now goes to 0. So I'll only be rolling the B. So D goes to 0, and range combat stays where it is. So I get to roll an RW B10. Now I did shoot last round, and I did not pay any attention to what I rolled. So if we quickly flick up here, didn't hit as I recall, so I think we did this 17 rounds. Right, okay, so we've got 17 rounds that we burnt through. So we're going to take that into account when we have this second shot. So now I am going to offload because I've got a chance of doing some goodness here. That was a different one, so let's just put that in as 17. Okay, so once again I'm going to roll my 5 dice, and I'm also going to roll my now B range combat. So let's do that and see what happens. RW, B, and 5D. And then we're going to count back from there. Okay, so I had a really, wow, that's a great shot. I've hit a lot. I've hit with 2 successes plus 2 extra hits, and I need to, but I've obviously used more ammo than I actually have. My ammo is 23, and I've got to get it down to 13 before I can take advantage of it. So I need to take 10 off. If I take these 3 bullets off here that I'm just highlighting, then I will only have used 12 rounds, and I will still keep my 2 hits, which I will graciously do. So I do that. First things first, I add 12 rounds to my spent ammo, so I now have 29 that I've used up, leaving me with exactly 1 in the mag, and then I roll not 1, not 2, but 3 separate hits, and I got 2 successes. So the first hit could very well cause a critical because its damage will be 3 with the 2 successes. So let's see what happens on that regard. So if we go RW 3D, we will see the 3 hits and where they landed. So the first and the second are 5s, which I'm pretty sure are arms, and 1 is legs. And I believe, because he's in light foliage, he doesn't get any cover, so he's only got his own thing, and 2 hits in the arms, 1 in the legs. Means the armor doesn't count at all, since he doesn't have any armor on those locations either. So he's going to take 3 points of damage, which is an instant critical on the arms. He's going to take another 2 points of damage for the second hit, and he's going to take a third round in the legs for another 2 points, meaning he takes 7 points of damage. He is toast. So character A, I should say, you have just taken 7 points of damage. So that's 1. If I can get it to agree to play nicely. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well and truly. And we'll also roll the critical, and then we're going to stop because we will have explored enough for you guys to get the sense. I want to roll for a coming out of CUF thing first, so we'll do that in a moment. And we'll just quickly go to those hit locations, and we'll roll the critical for the sake of color and light on his no, it wasn't his head, it was his arms. So if I roll a d10, which is what I'm going to do, we will see what happens. W, d10, and we got a 4. Okay, so a 4 means what exactly? Dislocated elbow. 2-handed weapons cannot be used. Takes d6 to recover. Won't matter because I'm incapacitated because I took 7 wounds. So I am well and truly, B is well and truly out of the fight as he is blasted into insignificance. Now the one thing I just realised I forgot to apply, which probably would have made all the difference in the world, is range. So I should have been applying range. I didn't for that second attack. And as you can see, that range would have given it -1, which means there's no way I could have got 2 successes on my first roll, which means he wouldn't have suffered a critical. He would, however, still have been incapacitated by the shot. Now, if we can go to the second guy just for 1 second, let's just roll. So now I haven't moved. I was under fire. Now to get out of under fire, I actually need to roll my CUF again. So in effect, I can crawl my way out of the darkness, but I need to now attempt. And if I fail, I will still remove my CUF status at the end of the round, but this means I will get 1 slow action if I pull it off. So I'm rolling a C and a D for the second Russian. So let's go C. Oh, sorry. RW, CD. Should work. Yeah. Nope, no successes. So I get no actions this round, and next round I will get to move when it is my turn. Our friend is lying on the ground bleeding. The second of our friends is still well concealed in heavy forest, and the 2 Russians are looking like they might come out of this alive after all. And that is where we'll stop it. But it gives you a sense of how the combat works. Excellent.